Hey friends, this is Heath with Backyard Explorers. We're at our local library to see if we've got any questions from junior explorers. If we do, we're going to get some library materials and go on an adventure. So come join us. I'm here at my local library to see if we've got any questions from junior explorers. Colton wants to know, where does soil come from? That's a great question. Addison wants to know, why are there worms in the soil? Another great question. Let's go ask the librarian and see if we can get some books on this. I think I know what we're going to talk about next. It looks like we're going to start sorting soils. So I've got my library card and I've got my books. Let's go check out and start our adventure. I'm here at my local park and we're going to be sorting soils. This park is a perfect place for that too. The park's main attraction is a large sandstone slab with very mysterious markings on it. That's perfect for explorers like us. We also want to do an experiment today, a soil survey. When you're a scientist like we all are, that's what you do. You collect data about something, look at it, and sometimes share it. Today, we want to find soil, so let's get our hands dirty. The first thing we want to answer is, what is soil? Soil is the earth underneath our feet. It's that loose material that covers the earth's surface, and it acts like the earth's skin. How cool is that? Did you know that soil has layers? That's right. Some of these layers are so far down in the ground that we might never see them, but it's important that we know they're there. At the very bottom, we have what's called bedrock. Next, we have parent material. Then we have our subsoil and our topsoil. See how each layer has a slightly different color? And finally, we have our organic layer. The organic layer contains most of the organic matter and lots of humus. That means it has a lot of organisms that make that layer very nutrient rich. Did you know that soil is alive? That's right. One of the important parts of soil is called organic matter. Organic matter includes anything that's alive. That includes things like insects, plant roots, but it also includes some things so small that we can't even see them with our eyes, like bacteria. Organic matter also includes things that used to be alive, like dead insects and leaves. That organic matter gets broken down into tiny pieces by bacteria and fungi. Then living plants and animals use those tiny pieces as food to grow. I've got my magnifying glass here with me today to see if I can see those tiny pieces in the soil. But don't worry if you don't have your magnifying glass with you. You can see plenty without it. Oh, and here's a fun fact. Just one handful of soil has more living organisms in it than there are people on the planet. That's just how alive soil really is. You know, you can tell a lot about soil by how it looks and feels. Soil actually comes from tiny pieces of rock, and the differences in soil type have to do with those size of rock pieces. And there are 3 different types of soil: sand, silt, and clay. Sand is the largest soil particle. It feels rough and gritty. Silt is the medium-sized particle. It feels smooth when wet. And clay is the smallest soil particle. It feels sticky when wet and hard when it dries. Soil is made out of so many things. It's mostly made out of minerals, but did you know that soil also contains water and air? I know, who would have thought? One of the great things about soil is its ability to hold water. When the ground becomes saturated with rainwater, air pockets help the soil hold even more. Water in the soil is a great way to help plants and animals. They need that water to survive. That's why we get concerned if there's ever a long period of time without rain, because that could lead to a shortage of water, and that's called a drought. A fun fact is that soil also helps us clean the water. You know, people think of soil as being dirty, but it actually helps clean things, like our water. Did you know that soil can be a home for animals too? That's right. Animals that burrow, like worms, insects, mice, and many other animals, create holes and tunnels in the ground that become filled with air and water. So, thanks to our burrowing animals, air and water can be found deep in the ground. The access to that air and water makes soil a thriving habitat. And here's a fun fact: worms actually spend their whole lives eating soil, as well as making it their home. They eat things like leaves in the soil, and that helps break it down into nutrients that become food for the plants. That's pretty cool, but I'm sure glad I don't have to eat my home. Did you know that soil gives plants the nutrients they need to grow? Those plants then grow food for animals, and even us. So we have soil to thank for our yummy foods. We also need to remember that without soil, there's no life on Earth, or food to eat. We must take special care of it and not do anything that would spoil the soil. All right, friends, we have had a great time sorting soil. For your experiment, I want you to get a clear jar or plastic bottle. Fill it halfway with soil and the other half with water. Put the lid on tight and shake it well. Those soil layers should present themselves if you let it sit overnight. I'm going to return my books to the library and then check on my experiment. We've just returned our books to the library, and I hope you've enjoyed sorting soils. Before doing your soil survey, check around your yard. What color is the soil? What's its texture? Do you see any little bits of leaves? Look for wormholes or signs of other burrowing animals. Now it's your turn to find out what's happening in your soil. Join us next time for Backyard Explorers.